imagine pouring like $500,000 into a brand new state-of-the-art business.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a huge investment.
Right. You've hired this brilliant interior designer, the lighting is just perfect, the branding is incredibly sleek, and you finally open the doors, and then, no one shows up to work.
Literally no one.
Not a single person. And the crazy thing is, it's not because there's some massive labor shortage. I mean, there are actually thousands of workers just right down the street.
Right. They're everywhere.
Exactly. It's because those workers walked past your front door, took one look at your business model, did the math in their heads in about, I don't know, 5 seconds, and decided you simply were not worth their time.
Which is just a terrifying scenario for an investor. I mean,
Right.
we are so conditioned by the traditional corporate hierarchy that we just, we take certain dynamics for granted.
Oh, totally.
Like, the baseline assumption globally is that the employer is the gatekeeper. The business owner sits behind a mahogany desk, sifts through resumes, conducts interviews, and ultimately grants someone the privilege of a job.
But the data we're diving into today completely shatters that illusion. We are looking intimately at the bar industry in Pattaya, Thailand.
Yes. Such a fascinating market.
It really is. And the bombshell here, the thing that completely flips the script on traditional economics, is that in Pattaya, the business owner doesn't really choose the staff. The staff choose the bar.
It's a complete 180-degree reversal of standard business mechanics.
It's wild.
It is. And that single massive shift in power dictates absolutely everything else in that ecosystem. I mean, it dictates who actually generates revenue, whose beautifully decorated venue stays completely empty, and which foreign investors lose their entire life savings within like 6 months.
Yeah, which happens a lot. So our mission today is to break down the actual hidden system behind how staff choose where to work in this specific highly unique market.
Right.
And more importantly, we are going to look at the psychological traps that cause most new business owners who show up there to completely misunderstand the game they are playing.
Which is crucial.
Exactly. Now, before we really get into the weeds on these inverted rules, if you find yourself captivated by this market and you're actually exploring investing there, you absolutely need a guide on the ground who understands these hidden dynamics.
You really do. You can't just fly blind.
You definitely can. So, today's deep dive is sponsored by Miya Solutions. They are a real estate investment and business consultancy based right there in Pattaya, and you can contact them for a free consultation. We've actually put all their contact details right down in the description.
And honestly, having a local consultant is so vital because Pattaya is not operating on normal job market logic at all.
Not even close.
Like in a typical Western city, you have employees aggressively competing for a limited number of decent jobs.
Right.
But in this specific microcosm, the demand from bars for workers is incredibly high. The supply of workers is highly flexible. And the movement between venues is just, well, virtually frictionless.
Okay, let's unpack that frictionless concept because that really seems to be the linchpin of everything here.
It really is.
Like, in a normal job, quitting is a massive headache. You have to put in 2 weeks' notice, you have to pack up your desk, roll over your retirement account, sit through an awkward exit interview.
Oh, yeah, the exit interviews.
Right. But in this market, there are no long-term contracts binding anyone to a specific venue. There is literally zero baseline loyalty.
None at all.
A worker can just walk out of one bar on a Tuesday night, cross the street, and start generating income at a competitor's bar on Wednesday.
Because the barrier to exit is practically non-existent. And because of that hypermobility, the fundamental question every bar owner has to ask themselves completely changes.
Right, it's not the usual stuff.
Exactly. It is no longer, who do I want to hire from this stack of applications? The question becomes, why would this independent contractor choose to walk into my bar over the literally thousands of other options they have tonight?
It reminds me so much of the gig economy. I mean, think about someone driving for Uber or Lyft.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Right. That driver does not care about the corporate logo on the app. They don't care about the color scheme of your marketing materials. They are looking at a digital heat map on their phone.
Yeah, where's the money right now?
Exactly. If one specific zone of the city is surging with high-paying fares, they just switch the app, turn the steering wheel, and drive to where the surge is. They just follow the demand.
That is the perfect mental model for this.
Yeah.
The workforce in Pattaya operates with that exact same, ruthless, algorithmic practicality.
Yeah, ruthless is the word.
They are treating the physical street like a heat map. It is not about the bar's branding or how fancy the neon lights are outside. It is purely 100% about immediate earning potential.
So it's all just math.
Pure math. The staff are constantly calculating a very specific set of variables in their heads before they even step through the door.
So walk us through that math. What exactly are they calculating when they, stand on the sidewalk looking at a venue?
Well, they're essentially running a probability matrix based on foot traffic. The calculation is basically this: how many customers are actively walking into this place per night? And then, once a customer sits down, what is the likelihood they will actually buy me a commissionable drink?
Right, because that's where the actual money is.
Exactly. And critically, how much total time are those customers actually spending inside the venue?
Huh.
Because time spent directly correlates to multiple drink purchases and higher tips.
So let's make this concrete. Imagine two different setups. You have bar A, right?
Okay, bar A.
The owner is this expat who spent a fortune importing Italian leather couches, installing custom mood lighting, putting up these fancy velvet ropes.
That's expensive.
Very. It looks like a high-end VIP lounge in London, but because it's intimidating or maybe just really new, quiet, they get maybe, 10 customers a night, and those customers just sit quietly in the corner.
To a prospective worker, bar A is a mathematical dead zone.
It's dead zone, exactly.
Velvet ropes do not pay commissions. The lack of energy means low engagement, and low engagement means the worker might sit there for 8 hours and make absolutely nothing.
Then you have Bar B right across the street. It's older. The paint is like peeling off the walls. The stools are a bit wobbly. The music is blasting. But there are 50 plus customers packed inside, laughing, playing pool, and just interacting.
The worker doesn't hesitate for a second. They walk straight into bar B.
No question.
What's fascinating here is they aren't going to bar A out of some charitable hope that they can, help the owner build a customer base.
They're not a charity.
Right. They flock to bar B because the money flow already exists in that room. The surge is actively happening right there.
Oh, wait, hold on. This presents a massive glaring paradox.
Oh, the new bar problem.
Yeah. If the staff only go where the customers already are, how does a brand new bar ever open? If I am the owner of Bar A and it's day one, my room is obviously going to be empty. If the staff take one look at my empty room and walk away, how do I ever get off the ground?
You've just hit on exactly what the industry calls the new bar problem. And it is the ultimate graveyard for foreign capital.
Really? The ultimate graveyard.
Oh, without a doubt. Investors come in with a very traditional, field of dreams mindset.
If you build it, they will come.
Exactly. They think, I will build a beautiful place, I will offer jobs to good staff, and once I have a great team, the business will naturally follow.
But the reality is completely inverted. You have to manufacture the customers first, and only then will the staff care enough to actually show up.
Yes, it is a brutal, unforgiving loop. The ecosystem operates on a strict snowball effect. A busy bar looks lively, which attracts staff who want to make money.
Right.
Having a large, energetic staff then makes the venue look incredibly appealing from the street, which pulls in even more customers.
Which means more money.
Exactly. Those new customers drive the earning potential through the roof, which then attracts the absolute highest tier, most experienced staff in the city. It just feeds on itself.
So if you open cold, without a plan to instantly pack the room with bodies, you are basically starting a ticking timer on a bomb.
A very short timer, yes.
Yes.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is why so many fail. If an owner opens their doors and just passively waits for foot traffic, the handful of staff they did manage to recruit for opening night will realize within 48 hours.
Wow, that's fast.
Sometimes within a single shift. They'll realize the math just doesn't work. They will look at the empty leather couches, look at their empty pockets, and simply walk out the door to the busy place next door.
And you're just left alone in your VIP lounge.
Exactly. The bar bleeds out its staff before it can ever build a regular customer base.
Okay, so if I'm opening a bar and I can't rely on my fancy interior design to attract staff, and I have this ticking timer, what do I actually spend my money on to guarantee customers are walking in on day one?
You spend it on the single most critical asset in the entire ecosystem: location. Location supersedes aesthetics every single time. A small, cramped, aesthetically ugly bar located right in the middle of a high-traffic walking street will consistently, reliably outperform a massive, beautiful, million-dollar mega bar tucked away on a quiet back alley.
Which again is why having a real estate consultant in this specific market isn't just a luxury, it's an absolute survival requirement.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't just rent a cheap, massive warehouse space on a dead street and hope your clever social media marketing overcomes the location.
No, the staff do not care about your Instagram.
Right, the staff do not ask, is the logo cool? They step outside, look down the street, and ask, are there wallets walking past the store right now?
They are ruthlessly hunting for the path of least resistance to earnings. Now, once they find a high-traffic street, the sheer volume of DARs means they still have to filter down to a specific venue.
Because there's so much competition right next to each other.
Exactly. And there are 3 specific internal mechanics they look for to make that final choice.
So what are those mechanics? How do they differentiate between, say, 10 busy bars on the exact same street?
Well, the first filter is an active atmosphere.
Okay, so loud and busy.
Yeah, they are actively listening for loud music, looking for bright lights, and gauging the energy of the crowd. In this environment, energy equals engagement.
Right.
A quiet room with soft jazz might be relaxing, but a quiet room is a broke room. High energy prompts faster drinking, more movement, and more spending.
Makes total sense. What's the second filter?
Fair pay structures.
Ah, the money.
Always the money. Math only works if the accounting is honest. They demand crystal clear commission rates, transparent checkout systems, and a zero-tolerance policy for skimming.
No shady business.
None. Trust is the absolute foundation of retention here. If a venue is packed to the walls, but the manager is known for, miraculously losing receipts or miscalculating payouts at the end of the night, the staff will abandon the venue immediately.
And I imagine the third filter plays right into that, just like basic management culture.
Precisely. It's about a respectful environment. They want consistent rules and no unnecessary pressure or emotional volatility from the owner.
Which sounds like a basic human decency that you'd want in literally any corporate job anywhere.
True, but in Pattaya, a toxic manager triggers something far more destructive than just a quiet resignation letter to HR.
Oh, the whisper network.
The Whisper Network.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You really have to think of this workforce as a hyper-fast, living, breathing TripAdvisor review system.
That is a brilliant way to put it.
Because instead of tourists leaving a one-star review that takes weeks to actually impact sales, it's the staff communicating directly with each other in real time.
The velocity of information in this market is staggering. Movement in this industry is rarely solitary. Friends bring friends, and entire groups of 5 or 10 workers will migrate together if they find a highly profitable, well-managed venue.
So let's play out a scenario. Let's say a bar manager decides to be greedy. It's 2:00 a.m. and he skims a tiny percentage off a worker's commission payout.
Okay, bad move.
Very bad move. Because in a normal Western corporate job, that employee might spend a week drafting an email to human resources. Then HR opens an investigation, it takes a month, and nobody else in the company really even knows it's happening.
Right, it's totally contained.
Exactly. So how does that play out here?
Well, the worker pulls out her phone and texts her Line app group chat at 2:05 a.m.
Wow, 5 minutes later.
Yes, by 2:15 a.m., 30 different workers across 5 different venues know that your bar has a thief for a manager.
That is insane.
By Wednesday evening, your staff has evaporated. Bad venues collapse with breathtaking speed because reputation is absolute currency here.
But the reverse must be true as well, right?
Oh, completely. If a worker finds a venue with massive foot traffic, perfectly fair pay, and a manager who treats them with genuine respect, she immediately invites her entire network. Good bars grow exponentially purely through this internal word of mouth.
So getting them to walk in the door on day one is really only half the battle. If we know the network communicates that fast, we have to look at why staff actually pack up and leave.
Right, the retention side of things.
Because retention seems to be where the actual game of business is won or lost here.
Retention is entirely about managing the math and the culture simultaneously. The number one reason staff leave is simply low customer volume.
Back to the math.
Always back to the math, even if they love the owner. If the room is consistently empty, their bills aren't getting paid. They just have to leave.
Yeah, that's just survival.
The second reason is restrictive income ceilings. If the bar is busy, but the pay structure makes it impossible to earn a good living, they walk.
And then you have the toxic workplace elements, like a manager who yells unpredictable rule changes, internal drama among the staff that the owner fails to handle.
Yep.
Because they have ultimate mobility, they have absolutely zero tolerance for a bad boss. They don't sit around hoping the culture improves next quarter, they just walk out.
Exactly.
But looking at the demographic data on this, what I found super compelling is how a worker's age fundamentally changes what they tolerate and what they actually look for.
It adds a really brilliant layer of nuance to the whole thing. You might assume all workers want the exact same high chaos, high volume environment, but experience completely changes the strategy.
So how does it break down?
Well, the data clearly shows that younger workers, typically in the 18 to 22 range, strongly prefer the absolute peak of the action.
Party scene.
Yeah, they want the loudest music, the biggest crowds, and the busiest walking streets. For them, it's about social proof and high energy excitement just as much as it is about the baseline income.
Right, but then you look at the mid-level workers, the 23 to 30 demographic, they start seeking a completely different balance.
They really do.
They still need the income, obviously, but they've been doing this long enough that they also value physical and mental comfort. They gravitate towards stable bars where the energy is a bit more manageable, the seating is better, and the income is highly predictable without having to scream over the music every single night.
And then you arrive at the veterans.
The experts.
The absolute experts. The most experienced workers in the city operate with terrifying precision. Their choices are driven purely by consistent, long-term earning potential.
We're not there to party.
Not at all. They don't care about the loud music or the party atmosphere because they already have a massive contact list of high-spending repeat clients.
Oh, wow. So they bring their own customers.
Exactly. They treat their network like a private book of business. They simply need a venue with cold beer, a comfortable seat, and honest accounting, so they can invite their own clients and execute their own strategy.
That completely blew my mind, because if you map that onto traditional corporate jobs, experienced workers usually want to move up the hierarchy.
Right, they want the promotion.
They want the manager title, they want the corner office, or they want to transition into some cushy, hands-off consulting role. But in this market, the most experienced veterans don't want to manage the bar.
No, too much hassle.
Right. They remain on the floor because they are the ultimate pragmatists. They've stripped away all the ego and all the illusion, and they just focus on the cold, hard math of maximizing revenue.
They know the velvet ropes are a distraction. It's just pure applied economics.
So putting this all together, knowing that the staff holds 100% of the leverage, that a good location absolutely destroys a beautiful aesthetic, that reputation can ruin you in an hour, and that you have to cater to the specific math of different age demographics.
That's a lot to juggle.
It is. So how does an owner actually survive and win?
Well, the data reveals a very clear 5-step playbook for the owners who actually make it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Step 1 is uncompromising. Secure a high-traffic location.
The wallets walking past the door.
Exactly. If you fail step 1, the rest of the steps simply do not matter.
Brutal. Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2. Manufacture an active atmosphere from the exact second you open your doors. You have to seed the room with energy so it looks appealing from the street.
Which naturally leads to step 3. Build systems that ensure customers stay longer. You need a reason for people to actually linger. You know, pool tables, great service, comfortable environments. Because every minute they stay is potential income for the staff.
Spot on. Then step 4 is maintaining an impeccably fair financial system. Pay exactly what is owed on time with total transparency.
No skimming.
Never. And finally, step 5. Actively manage your internal reputation. You have to treat your staff as your primary marketing channel.
Not Instagram.
Nope, their group chats are the only billboards that actually matter.
It is a total paradigm shift. You transition from being a hunter, trying to trap employees, to building a magnet that naturally attracts them.
That is the perfect way to summarize it.
So what does this all mean for you listening? The ultimate takeaway from our deep dive today is that you do not build a successful business in an environment like this by aggressively trying to choose the right people. You build it by designing an ecosystem that the right people naturally choose to inhabit. Smart owners don't waste calories chasing staff. They meticulously engineer environments that staff simply cannot afford to ignore.
And, stepping back from Pattaya entirely, this raises a genuinely disruptive question about the future of the Western corporate world.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Think about Gen Z entering the workforce right now. They are highly connected, deeply skeptical of corporate loyalty, and armed with instant communication tools like Glassdoor and Slack.
The digital whisper network.
Exactly. If remote work continues to strip away geographic friction, making job hopping as easy as closing one laptop and opening another, What happens when this staff-first attraction model becomes the global standard?
Wow.
Imagine a traditional human resources department trying to function in a world where an entire engineering team can instantly mass migrate to a competitor the moment a manager shows a hint of toxicity, all coordinated in real time over a private group chat.
That is a wild thought to leave off on. If you apply this exact attraction model to your own industry today, how radically would your hiring strategy have to change by tomorrow? Something to definitely chew on. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning those hidden systems around you, and we'll catch you on the next one.